The premise given that you're already working on it on the side, you don't want to be pouring all your time and energy into something that doesn't light you up. At the end of the day, it's understanding the reason for why you are pursuing this side hustle to begin with. With the need to balance so many different moving things, there are certain things that you would definitely have to move aside to accommodate for that. Ideas are everywhere. It's also trying to filter it such that you are able to find something that works for you.
Are we at risk of being left behind by inflation with just a single source of income? Even more crucially, what's the roadmap to not just surviving, but thriving financially and creating wealth? Beyond the usual investment and financial tactics, are there innovative avenues to boost income? I'm Rashan Gidwani, and joining us today is Marcus Cheu, the automation and AI strategist for SalesDuo. Hi Marcus, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me.
So let's dive right in. Marcus, in today's ever-evolving economy, what innovative and unconventional strategies can side hustlers and entrepreneurs explore to maximize their income streams?
I would say I take a very unconventional view to this. I don't know whether it's unconventional, but the way I look at it is, in this day and age, there isn't a lack of information, right? There are so many ideas out there. I'm pretty sure if you just go onto like ChatGPT, you can search and there's a lot of ideas. But I think the key is, or rather the question to ask is, how can we find the right idea for us? And to me, I believe that there's a lot of things we can explore. It's more so asking ourselves, where's our unfair advantage and where can we hone in such that we can find the idea that works for us? Because I believe in, not just finding a short-term idea that works in the next 2-3 months. It's more about how you can sustain it for the long term. And I think then it's a lot of self-discovery. There's a lot of asking yourself, what do you truly enjoy? And then slowly piecing the pieces together to find that out.
So when striving for higher income, what are the key challenges side hustlers commonly face, and how can they overcome these obstacles to achieve financial growth?
Specifically in the context of a side hustle, the unique circumstance is that you are limited by time, right? You probably have something going on, be it your school, be it your work and whatnot. So I think that's the main limitation, and therefore arises the key challenge, which is how do you manage the different moving pieces such that you can't just be focusing on your side hustle and have your main job go to waste, but at the same time, how do you put your energy and time into making sure that you can develop growth in the side hustle, right? So I think that's the main challenge, and you were asking how do we then deal with it. The first word that comes to mind is sacrifice. So with the need to balance so many different moving things, there are certain things that you would definitely have to move aside to accommodate for that, right? Maybe you have less Netflix time, maybe you have less time to sort of meet friends even, or meet colleagues and whatnot. But I think at the end of the day, it's understanding the reason for why you are pursuing this side hustle to begin with. Like maybe an end objective of maybe just getting more money, or maybe it might be a passion that you're pursuing. But once you have that in mind, then it's really understanding that you have to shift certain things to accommodate for these new additions to your life.
Could you share some creative solutions that individuals have successfully employed to increase their income? And how can our listeners adapt these ideas to their own side hustles?
The most creative solutions have always come from solving the own problems that you face in your own lives, or sort of like identifying the opportunities that arise in your daily life, right? Like I've seen certain YouTubers, they talk about how they earn $500,000 selling stickers, which doesn't sound very intuitive. Or, maybe like as we look through the studio, maybe this light, I could maybe import it and flip it for a certain profit. But I think it boils down to that creative solution comes from understanding. I boil it back down to what are you interested in, what piques your interest, and then sort of diving deeper into it to understanding, hey, is there a market that I can explore? Sneaker reselling, for example, is another very popular choice. But if you compare two people, one who is very passionate about sneakers, even if he's not in the trade, he probably knows a lot of stuff, versus someone who is just in it for the money, I'm not too sure how long that person would last. The premise given that you're already working on it on the side, right? You don't want to be pouring all your time and energy into something that doesn't light you up. So I think there's that element of, okay, as much as you want to find ideas where I would say ideas are everywhere, it's also trying to filter it such that you are able to find something that works for you.
Now, networking often plays a crucial role in income enhancement. How does effective networking contribute to boosting one's income, especially in the context of side hustles?
So a bit of context is my first full-time role actually came from networking. So like it was actually from someone's referral, and then I managed to get the role. I would definitely agree with that statement that networking is super powerful. I guess not just in the context of side hustle, but in life in general. I think networking definitely plays a huge role, right? I would say going in with, first of all, and a clear idea of what you are working on yourself. When you meet someone, you need to be able to let the person know what you're working on, where your interests lie, where your goals are, before you're able to sort of fit yourself into the other person's mind. So I think that's number one. The key is to go in with an open mind and not say have too much of an agenda, right? Like if I meet you and I say, hey, I want this from you, like that's not gonna sit right with the person. I think it's just also listening for how you can help the person, not just how he or she can help you, but also how you can actually contribute to them first, right? Because the law of reciprocity, right? If I help you, you're more likely to help me, and the world is just a better place with that.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. You kind of touched on it. It leads into my next question. What actionable tips and advice can you offer to our audience to make their networking efforts more productive and results-oriented? What else can you tell me, Marcus?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question because I wouldn't consider myself to be very good at it at the start, but it's something that I've developed over time. One thing is learning how to sit with silence. For example, like after you ask a question, like the ability to just pause and let the person fill the gap is something that I've learned, because if you keep trying to fill the silence, then it becomes like a very rushed conversation and there's no depth to it. That is one thing that I've learned. Is just seems very uncomfortable at the start, but as you slowly get into it, I think it becomes a lot more comfortable. The other part will probably just taking the initiative to explore different events, different opportunities to understand what kind of scenarios suit you best. So personally, I prefer one-to-one conversations over big groups. So even when I go to a networking, how I usually go about it is just find someone and then sort of have that one-to-one versus like trying to join a big group. Like I found that doesn't work too well for me because I need to talk over other people and whatnot. But some people thrive in big groups. So I think understanding that context and understanding which one you're more comfortable with, or maybe like if you're not very good with approaching someone first, maybe going with a friend who's like super skilled at networking to sort of bring you and lead you into the conversation. I think that helps to just pave the way for you to be more comfortable in that as well.
Now let's wrap things up. Could you share your final insights and recommendations for unlocking one's full income potential in today's ever-evolving economic landscape?
The most foundational piece is self-management. I think that's been the common theme even as I was working on my side hustles and eventually transitioning into like a full-time entrepreneur. It's always, how do you manage your own time, your energy, your resources, your emotions? A lot of it starts from yourself, and only when you are able to have a good grasp of yourself are you able to translate that into other people. I've had the luxury of working with a few business leaders in my trade now, right? And sometimes I see business leaders who are not the best, not their best self, right? Like they're not treating their employees well, and then as a result, their internal operations are like a mess. And I'm looking at them and I'm seeing, I think it really starts from the top down and from the internal out. When it comes to unlocking your full potential, I think a lot of it is self-mastery first before you're able to translate into the value that you're able to give to people. Because I believe that your earning potential is a reflection of your personal growth and your personal value. Always comes down to yourself, and I would say just start with that and understanding where your strengths lie, what's the value that can bring, where's your unfair advantage. I think finding the ideas and whatnot is probably the easier part with all the information out there. And then from there, you can go and find ideas, go and find people who can help you along the way, go and network, find opportunities, just have that consistency. And I think people will be able to achieve their full potential.
Thank you so much for bringing so much value to Teatime Tuesday. And I hope we can chat again soon.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks a lot.
Marcus. Increasing your income is a continuous process, so stay motivated, keep learning, and embrace opportunities as they come your way. You've been watching Teatime Tuesday. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge and financial empowerment.